What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get into what's going on over in Iraq. Not a whole lot, but definitely some interesting things that we should be aware of. Let's just say that it's definitely Al Qademi doing some kick ass work as usual. Okay? All right, so look, if you're thinking about getting into precious metals, please give our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange a consideration. The link is in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you buy more than $100 worth of precious metals, please use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and get a free half ounce of silver. Over here on Facebook, we got Pimpy's Investment Chat. It's the same name as the YouTube channel. Over here, we talk about investments like gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. All right, no politics. Bring the politics over to here, which is the hidden things in front of your eyes. Over here, you can talk about politics, current event, QAnon, NESARA, GESARA, 9/11, false flag events. Right now, the big talk, of course, is the fact that Trump and his wife now have the Rona. That's a big chat in there right now. But anyways, be respectful of one another, please. And if you don't have Facebook but got Twitter, come join me over here on Twitter. The link is in the description. All right, so let's get in here. So first things first, right off the get-go, this is good news. With documents, taxes achieve record revenues and make important decisions. So remember when Al Qademi got into office and got his cabinet going, one of the things he spoke about doing is getting rid of about 1,000 senior employees and have them replaced. His goal, of course, is to do something about the corruption that's going on. And it's starting to pay a little bit in dividends. Here's a perfect example. So a representative told the news that successful measures implemented by the General Tax Authority, which contributed to increasing state revenue and facilitated the taxpayer payments without sending a detection or assessment committee, some of which caused harm to the state and citizens due to the corruption. Tax revenues last month, of course, in September, broke a record. Of course it did. When you remove the corrupt people, good things like this are bound to happen. By reaching 601 billion dinars, thanks to the excellent measures taken by the Director General of the Tax Authority, which included fighting corruption in the evaluation and disclosure committees. He reduced the battle against corruption by directing a fatal blow to the weak souls and counseled this. The committees opened the doors for the taxpayers to come and pay their taxes they owed, and trust returned between the citizens and the General Tax Authority. All right. Again, Al Qademi's going through great lengths to make sure that people, their faith and trust in the government is being restored. This is a great thing. This is really good news. Okay, when you remove the corruption, more money is coming into the government, which is very needed at the moment. So it says, the rest of it says, we hope that the rest of the government agencies and ministries will follow the example of the General Tax Authority in facilitating procedures for citizens and bypassing routine episodes, with the emphasis on combating the scourge of corruption and blocking the way for the spoilers. And within a few days, we will reveal to the Iraq public options or opinions of corruption that was presented during the authority. Okay, so basically, in other words, they're going to point out where the corruption was. Again, doing what they can to really just wean out corruption. So a record tax collection in the month of September. Great news, man. Again, doing what he can. Al Qademi replacing the corrupt people with good people. And this is big. Finance gives good news to employees and retirees after September salaries. About September salaries, okay? So a source at Iraq Finance Ministry revealed on Saturday the salaries of this September are fully secured with the ministry. Well, hell yeah, if you just raise a record number of taxes, maybe you won't have to borrow. The salaries of the employees and retirees for the month of September are fully secured through the availability of finance liquidity. The delay in distributing the salaries was due to technical problems. Remember, they already went through this. It wasn't a technical problem. They had transferred over the salaries, but did not give the authority to release them is what it was. Okay, so the banks will start launching and dispersing the salaries of employees at the end of the week by sending a notice from the finance to the designated banks to release the salaries of the employees and retirees. All right, so that's what we found out last time. So again, this is good news. So people are getting paid, record number of tax collected, corruption greatly reduced in that area. It's already starting to pay dividends. The U.S. State Department marks a major problem in Iraq. Of course, is what we're talking about. So the United States Department considered the presence of militia in Iraq a major problem. The U.S. Assistant Secretary of State, David Schenker, said in a press statement followed by the news that the Iranian-backed militia in Iraq are a major problem and we will not hesitate to move to protect our soldiers. We cannot tolerate any threat to our embassy in Baghdad and we will not hesitate to take the steps to protect it. So on Wednesday, Iraq's Minister Hussein called on the United States government to reconsider the principled decision to close the embassy in the capital of Baghdad, describing the withdrawal as a dangerous step for the country in all aspects, especially the economic one. This is what I was talking about. If embassies start closing because they don't feel secure there, you can bet that outside finance or outside investors will pull as well. When the protest started last year, when the right before the other government had all resigned, tons of outside investors pulled. It cost them like $6 billion or something like that. Okay, so yeah, they can't afford this. This is the first official acknowledgement by the federal government after reports were received by Washington's intention to close the embassy. Okay, so again, what needs to be done? Al-Kadhimi needs to keep stepping up to the plate. Every time this has happened, though, with good news, he's been able to find the people who have shot the rockets. The last time they arrested 19 officials and then arrested an additional 30 people after that. So again, they need to get crack-a-lacking on that and keep doing the same thing. Oh, what is this? Right on time, Pimpy. Yes, it is. Baghdad announces the arrest of the rocket launchers on Erbil. Yep, that's right. This is what Al-Kadhimi needs to keep doing, him and his government. Every time there's a launch, they need to get investigating right away. And if they can, quickly figure out who is responsible and arrest them. And so far, I think there's been 5 missile attacks in which every single time shortly after that, they've been able to find out who is responsible and arrest those individuals. This needs to continue. Of course, we want the rocket or missile launches to stop. But again, as long as Al-Kadhimi is doing something and making sure these people get arrested right away, eventually it's going to taper down. The spokesman for the joint operation in Iraq said on Thursday that the perpetrators of the attack on Erbil airport and the targets of the diplomatic missions in Baghdad have been arrested. People have been arrested involved in targeting diplomatic missions in Baghdad, along with the perpetrators of the attack on the Erbil airport. And investigations are underway with them according to the information available to us. This is exactly what they knew. Investigate, arrest, investigate, round them up. We cannot give details about those who were arrested, but the party behind those attacks will be announced after the investigation is complete. We are ready to use force against anyone who targets diplomatic missions, and we will not tolerate any party that harms the security of Iraq, according to what was quoted to the news. This is the stance that the government needs to take. Before this type of stuff was tolerated, they would just come out and pay lip service, but nothing was ever done. Under Al-Kadhimi's reign, they're doing something about this. So you could see corruption the removal of the corrupt people is starting to pay off dividends. A record number of tax collected in September. This is great news. And every time there's a rocket launch or a missile attack, they've been very quick to arrest the people and start investigating. This kind of action is exactly what I think the international community wants to see. We are in the leadership carrying out important intelligence operations and efforts against anyone who used organized crime Our duty is to protect the country and provide security and safety to the Iraqi people and to the diplomatic mission. See, that's a great statement right there. But it's one thing to just pay lip service. It's another to do something about it. Unidentified persons fired 6 missiles at the center of the U.S.-led international coalition forces near Erbil Airport on Wednesday, that was. But they fell on an empty land without any casualties, although either they're just really bad at what they're doing or their intentions are just to intimidate and scare and not actually hit anything. This is the first attack of its kind in the Kurdistan region, and security authorities in Erbil said that the rockets were launched from a Nevin plane in the area controlled by the Popular Mobilization Forces. So those are the people we tend to hear the most about behind all these attacks, the Popular Mobilization Forces, which is the sector that is the Iranian-backed or Iranian sympathizers. We hear about this all the time. Iraq is witnessing recently increased demands from the internal political forces to put an end to missiles and improvised explosive devices, attacks targeting diplomatic missions in the foreign forces. So if you remember, Sadr's been pointing fingers, man. He's been pointing the fingers at this popular mobilization forces. All right, he's saying, you know what, these Shiite people, we need to stop this. And you, as people, as leaders of your sectors, need to put a stop to it. Washington accuses Shiite factions that receive support and funding from Iran, including the Iraqi Hezbollah Brigade, of being behind these attacks. So my thing is, if you know who they are, then you need to start rounding them up and investigating them and interrogating them to get to the bottom of this. Okay, the next article is that there's a book fair, which is good. That's about it for now in the news. But again, I can't emphasize this enough. You guys, these are all good things, not the closing of the embassies. Let's hope that doesn't happen. All right, but the fact that, you know, doing something about the corruption is already bearing fruit there. The fact that they collect a record number of taxes in the month of September is outstanding. The fact that they've already arrested and are continuing to investigate the people behind the missile attacks in Erbil is outstanding. So this is all great news in my opinion. It's not a whole lot, but at least they're still doing what they look. It's been more than impressive since Al-Qadimi's been in there. He's been doing everything he said he was going to do. So far, so good, but we'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully this will continue and a lot of this will clear up. I believe a lot more people are starting to get behind Al-Qadimi and making sure that the Iraqi people are secure and that their sovereignty is respected. So that's it for now, you guys. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later.